Hey guys, it's Christina. How's it going? Well, there's one subject I know many of us teachers have had a hard time with, and that's math. I mean, there's so many different topics we need to cover, steps. We have to figure out how to teach them, how to fix some of their mistakes they're making. We have to reach the low ones and the higher kids and the kids that are on grade level. I mean, it's a lot. So looking back some years, I know that I definitely could have done better, but I feel like I'm getting to the point where I'm really starting to like teaching math, and I feel like my lessons are flowing better, and I'm able to reach some of the higher kids and some of the lower kids too. So I just wanted to give you some tips and some tricks on how to teach math. Okay, first of all, some of these ideas I'm going to give to you, they might take a little bit of prep in the beginning to set everything up, but once you have everything set up, I feel like it's pretty easy. And I don't know, I feel like it just kind of sets things up for the whole year. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so first let's just talk about some of the materials that I put into place for my lessons. And by the way, my team does this as well. We brainstormed a lot of this stuff together, and like I said, I have really loved it. All right, so the first thing that my team did is we put together a whole binder that they would use for the whole school year. And we actually found some of these materials on Teachers Pay Teachers, and some of it we just came up with on our own. So we have 16 units in it, and each unit is something they need to learn for that year. So for example, the first unit would be place value, the second one multiplication, the third one division, and so on. And for each unit, we had some lessons they needed to go through and do, some pages they needed to fill out, an exit ticket, and a mastery task. Sometimes we would put like an escape room or something like that they would need to do to master that concept. So just decide what do they need to do to master that concept and put it into a checklist. And what we did is we put each one on colored paper in a sheet protector, and then all the other materials we kind of punched and put into the binder. So I'm going to say this, the nice thing about the binder is they could go slower if they need to throughout like the year, or they can go faster. There's also extensions. So I'll go over that a little bit more, but it's so nice because they can go more at their own pace. Okay, so another thing that I prepared to go along with the binder are the lessons for them to go through and do. So what my team did is we took all the lessons we needed to cover for the year, we divided them up, and we filmed them into a YouTube video. It's like 8 to 10 minutes for the lesson. And then following the lesson, they would fill out a Google form. And the Google form is self-correcting. So when they're done watching the video, they'll answer the questions to go with it. And if they miss some, they can go back and fix them until they get 100%. And then they can check it off their list after that. Okay, so after you put the unit pages in, and you've also gotten your lessons ready with the Google Forms. By the way, you can do that in however you want, but that's just how I'm doing it. I would then go through and photocopy the question pages for them to go through and do, the exit tickets, which they'll have on a bin, in a bin on the counter, and they're all labeled. I'll also print out the mastery sheets and the cards, which will also be on the counter in different bins. And let's see, what else do I need to prepare? I think that's pretty much it. Or if there's any extra stuff, sometimes we've done math menus, so we'll print those off. Or if you want to do an escape room, you can get that ready. So those are some of the things you need to prep just to get ready to teach math. I know for me, that's what we did to get things all ready. So by the way, you don't necessarily have to prep that stuff at the beginning of the year or before school starts. You can also do it as you go throughout the year, which my team ended up doing for some of these things because we didn't have our materials in time, but it happens. So we ended up just photocopying some stuff throughout the year, but I would recommend getting everything ready before just because it makes it nicer and you have everything all set up. By the way, before I say this next part, my team also sat down and we paced out all the math so we would know, okay, if a child was on grade level, this is the pace they would need to take, and this is the pace that we would take with our lessons. And I'll talk about how it works if they're going slower or faster and stuff like that. So stay tuned for that. Okay, now that we've talked about all the different preparations you can make before you start teaching, I now want to talk about how a math lesson goes for me day to day. So, and how I pace it all out. So, basically, the very first 10 minutes, I'll do a quick mini lesson with them. And it'll be whatever topic that we're on, like grade level wise. And like I said, it's 10 minutes long, so super quick. The kids get out their whiteboards, markers, and erasers, and we go through, and first I'll show them the steps on how to do something, and then we'll just walk through and practice it. And then as soon as 10 minutes is up, I'll tell you what we'll do next. By the way, some of you might be thinking, well, 10 minutes, that's not really enough time to teach them a math lesson. Well, I will tell you right now how we get more of that in. So basically the next 30 minutes after that is all for them to work on their math binders. So they will work through their checklist at their own pace. So they will first go through the lessons, which will have more instruction and problems for them to practice, or maybe they'll work on ST Math, which is a program we're doing, which will like kind of coach them through some things, or maybe they'll do their exit ticket, or maybe they're to their mastery task. So they're completing all these different things in that one category until they master it. Okay, so like I was saying before, as they're working on their binders, they can go slower if they need to, or faster. If they're going slower, maybe they might need a little bit more practice. They might want to watch the video a second time. They can do whatever they need to try and get that concept down. If they are a student that really goes through things faster and it's easier for them, we also have extensions for them to do, which I'll explain to you next. All right, now for the extensions, basically what we decided to do was on those little sheets where it has like the list of things they need to accomplish, on the other side, we actually have extensions for them to complete. And if they complete them, they actually get a higher score. So some of the things that maybe they could do, just as an example, maybe they could create a slideshow that goes with that topic, or they could record a Flipgrid to explain the steps on how to do something, or maybe they could teach a small group. I mean, there's a lot of different things you can come up with to help them extend their learning a little more. Okay, so during this next 30 minutes of the math lesson, after that mini lesson, I will put up a slide on the board, and this is kind of what it looks like, and it just lays out everything they will be doing during this time as I do small groups, which is so awesome. I get 30 minutes of small group time to work with students that are lower in certain areas. So it has been so great. If you've heard about doing like a flipped classroom, this is what that is. So, but basically at this time, I have all the materials out on the counter for them to grab as they need them. They have their binders. I have all the lessons pulled up on Google Classroom. I also have a checklist, or not a checklist, like a clipboard, and they can write their name on it if they're ready to pass off a unit, and I'll do that later with them. So maybe I'll call my first group over and I'll work with maybe place value with them. And then when I feel I'm ready, I'll call over the next group, and maybe this group needs help with multiplication. Or maybe I need to work more one-on-one with somebody on something. So it's great because you have this 30 minutes to work with students that need a little bit more help, and the other students are still learning and they're taking things at their pace, which is so awesome, you guys. It is seriously life-changing. It's amazing. Okay, now for the last 15 minutes of math, this is where I will go to that clipboard and I will just go down the list and call people over one by one, maybe two at a time, and they'll bring their binders over and their computers, and we'll just go through and make sure they have mastered that task. So basically I'll go through, they'll show me their scores and I'll mark it off. They'll show me they've completed the mastery task, I'll mark that off. And then when they're done, I put it into a spreadsheet. My whole grade level has a spreadsheet, and we mark who has completed the task for that unit. Did they master it? When did they master it? We write notes in. And then we like score them on how they did too. So if they were lower, I will know, okay, maybe tomorrow I need to have a small group and I need to include this person in it to help reteach a little bit more to get them to where they need to be. The really, really cool thing about our spreadsheet too is we can see where everybody's at as far as like the units go. And then also there's a spot where we can mark if we send email to the parents. And basically what I did is I sent out an email at the beginning of the year, and I told the parents what the units were and to be on grade level where they should be passing things off. So if their students lower, sometimes they might have me send a few things home for them to pass the unit off, or I don't know, they'll just be informed as to where their child is at with the pacing, which is so nice. And I'll also tell them if they did really well with it, or they went beyond, or maybe they need a little more help. So the parents are in the loop, and it makes it really nice for conferences too, because it's not a big surprise. Okay guys, so I hope this gives you a little bit more of an idea of how I do my math lessons now. But like I said, I have really loved it, and it's been just so awesome. I definitely would like to do it again for other years coming up. So it does take a little bit of prep at first, but if you end up teaching the same grade level, I feel like you'll have these resources that you could use again and again. Also, if you don't want to record all these videos, maybe you could find some on YouTube that are already recorded and already walk through the steps really well too. So keep that in mind. All right, you guys, well, those are some things I've been doing just to make my math lessons better and to reach the kids more at whatever level they're at. So hopefully this helps you out. If you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.